There is a simple reality when it comes to Pokemon games. There is basically no such thing as a bad Pokemon game, at least not a main series one. The core mechanics that have made up Pokemon since Red and Blue are so simple and timeless that they can be reapplied in different settings, and they will, at the very least, make for a fun game. Collect cute and colourful creatures, build a team to battle in a simple on the surface, but tons of depth under the hood battle system, visit big and bustling cities, explore routes and caves, and become champion of the world. Everything added on top of and around that is the difference between a good and a great Pokemon game, but every time Game Freak serves that up, it delivers. It is then a little understandable that they are reluctant to deviate from that formula. It's worked over and over again. Pokemon is one of the biggest video game franchises on Earth for good reason. That formula works. Pokemon Sword and Shield are the first main series Pokemon games on a home console, and the world anticipated that big leap. Sword and Shield doesn't quite deliver it. It's closer to a generational hop, but there's still plenty to love about Galar and the new generation of Pokemon. The big new headline addition is, of course, the Wild Area. It's the Pokemon series' first meaningful foray into a more open world, and it's a very successful one. It offers a wide open space connecting two of the major, more traditional parts of Galar. You can catch tons of Pokemon, pluck berries, find items, camp, and participate in max raid battles against Dynamax Pokemon. It's more a sandbox with two large areas, but it serves as proof of concept more than anything else. If proof was even necessary that open world Pokemon would work. Game Freak can fill those spaces with endless new critters, and there is always an incentive to keep exploring. Pokemon Go basically proved that Earth is the biggest open world imaginable after all. Each time I'd dip into the wild area, I'd always stay longer than planned, getting caught up chasing down new Pokemon. The max raid battles are fun diversions, especially when chasing Gigantamax Pokemon. Camping allows you to look at delightful curry dishes and even more delightful reactions to them, as well as play with your Pokemon. It is a little frustrating to run into high level Pokemon that the game simply does not let you catch. I get why. If you catch a level 27 Onix before you ever get a badge, the balance of the whole game would be broken, but I wish they found a more elegant workaround. There are times where you run into Pokemon in the wild area that are lower level than the Pokemon you have at that moment, but because you don't have the necessary badges, you can't actually catch it. And that's kinda lame. Regardless, the wild area is a complete success and should be the first foundational building block of the next generation of Pokemon. The new Pokemon are a real highlight. The game is chock full of delightful, memorable new Pokemon designs. All three starters are great, the Pokemon are silly, adorable, menacing and memorable, many of them brilliantly themed around the UK setting, and the Galar forms of old Pokemon are hilarious. I don't want to spoil many of them, and I've already done a video on my 10 favourites if you want some deeper thoughts, but they're great. Some of the evolutionary methods are out of control though. You can only evolve Farfetch'd into Surfetch'd by landing 3 critical hits in one battle. Or you can only evolve Galar Yamask by reducing its HP by 49 or more and then running below a rock in the wild area. It's absurd. You can't figure those out without a guide. They've got to rein that in. The game streamlines many of the more cumbersome or irksome systems of prior entries, many of these carried over from Let's Go. You can access your box from basically anywhere, making it easier to manage your Pokemon. No longer do you have to walk back to the Pokemon Center to shake up your team. Wild encounters are avoidable as Pokemon appear on the overworld en routes, making traversal just so much simpler and quicker. HMs are still gone, you can fly anywhere very quickly. There are considerably fewer tutorials with less hand-holding, and in fact, the game doesn't tell you you have Pokeballs at the start. Your mom gives you 5 and you can catch a Pokemon before the game gives you the Pokemon catching tutorial. And if you do so, the game is just like, oh, you caught one, good job, and moves on. It's very un-Pokemon. And all Pokemon gain experience in battle, making it easier to raise multiple Pokemon or have under-leveled ones catch up. All of those little quality of life improvements help pluck the monotony from the Pokemon experience and make for a much smoother, more briskly paced game. Gyms have had an overhaul and play a more integral role in Pokemon than ever. Not only are they the driving force of the story, The Gym Challenge, where trainers roam the Galar region, challenging the gyms for the right to enter an end-of-season Champions League style tournament, encompasses the core game's whole narrative. It is not a revolutionary shift from a standard Pokemon plot, but the gyms have been built into the overall world in a more satisfying way. They feel more meaningful, a centerpiece of the Galar region rather than something you happen to stop by as you go through each town. Equally, the gym challenges are clever and inventive, easily the best in the history of the series. Many of them have ideas or mechanics specifically for that gym that are a clear step above the puzzles of old. Gym battles now take place in big, open arenas with screaming fans, and that adds a sense of scale to proceedings. This is where Dynamax plays its biggest role, and it's a nice, if inessential, addition. The Gigantamax designs are great though, and the Dynamax moves look cool, but if it's not carried into the next generation of Pokemon, I won't really have much issue. The battle system is the same rock-solid RPG Pokemon has always been. The Galar region as a whole shines, full of big, varied, memorable cities and towns, bright and colourful routes, as well as the wild area. The charming towns based on the British countryside are just delightful. Equally, the game is full of fun and memorable characters, each with cool arcs. Leon, the hyper-confident champion with an awful sense of direction. Hop, your charming and energetic rival. Bede, or Betty, or Bed, or whatever his name is, the trainer desperate for the validation of becoming champion. The professor's assistant on the search of long-lost secrets. The plot is fairly standard Pokemon fare, but it's nice that it doesn't just end when the credits roll. There's still more to learn after. The depth of character customization is fun, the music, while not the best in the series, is really good with some great tracks, and the game is always pleasant to look at. If you go in expecting the Breath of the Wild of Pokemon, you'll come out disappointed. The game will never be remembered as the game that pushed Pokemon out of its established comfort zone and into new territory. Rather, Sword and Shield dips its toe in those waters, while staying true to the core of what made previous entries so fun. It lacks a revolutionary touch that takes it down from a truly remarkable game to just a damn fun new entry in the Pokemon series. That core shines even brighter when many of the needlessly time-consuming elements are stripped away, resulting in a delightful, briskly paced game with tons of new great Pokemon, large and varied environments to explore, and all the character and charm you could ever possibly want. It's very easy to get lost in the world they create. Pokemon Sword and Shield gets 8.5 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. I found myself liking these games probably even a little more than I thought I would. Like, there's at least 2 nights where I sit up until 6 AM because I just wanted to continue playing more Pokemon. Pokemon is fun, even though I cannot say Gigantamax to save my life. The number of outtakes of me saying Gigantamax is far too many. Thank you so much for watching. On your left, my look back at Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. On your right, my top 10 favourite Pokemon from the Galar region. Thanks for watching.